Hello everybody, hope you're all well. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back today with a DIY for you, and today's DIY is an Anthropologie inspired one. We're going to be making a pom-pom wreath. So I saw one of these in Anthropologie in store and it was £90. So I thought we'd have a go at making our own, and this one is going to cost us under a tenner, and that is including everything that we need to make it, including these gadgets which I picked up recently. These are pom-pom makers, so I'll be showing you how you use these as well. But before we get into the DIY, if you're new here, don't forget to click subscribe. I'm posting new videos every single week, and if you enjoy this Anthropologie inspired DIY and would like to see more of these, then do give this video a thumbs up. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to take you through everything that you will need. I picked up this wreath base in Poundland, so £1 for that is just a polystyrene wreath base. Obviously you can go for whatever size you would like your wreath to be, but bear in mind, the bigger you go, the more pom-poms you're going to need to make, and I had to make a lot to cover this, so just keep that in mind. The other thing you're going to need is some wool to make your pom-poms. I picked up these again in Poundland. In there you can get 3 balls for £2, and I went for some white wool, also some blue wool, as you can see, and also some off-white kind of creamy coloured wool to break it up. I wanted to give it a bit of texture and contrast, and I think it's really nice as well if you use wools that are different kind of textures. So maybe pick one that's really fluffy, and then maybe go for one that's a little bit more like a twine, and maybe one that's just got some different colours in it. So the one that I've been inspired by from Anthropologie is called Blizzard. So essentially we're trying to mimic some kind of snowballs, I think, kind of vibe with this. So that's what we've got in mind as our inspiration, but of course you could do whatever colours you want to with your wreath. You could go for some traditional festive, maybe reds and golds or reds and greens, or you could go for like a sparkly one with some sparkly wool and some silvers in there. Honestly, the options are endless. I think these are so much fun to make, but you are going to need to make a lot of pom-poms. So I picked up these pom-pom makers from Amazon. I gave the various techniques of making pom-poms a go. So I had a go with putting two cardboard loo rolls together and wrapping the wool around those. There's lots of tutorials online that you'll be able to find if you don't have these, but I would recommend these because they don't end up wasting any wool. A lot of the techniques that you can sort of DIY your own pom-poms end up where you have to sort of trim off quite a lot of excess to get the round shape of the pom-pom. These ones I found that you don't really get any waste with, so they're really handy, and I'll link them in the description box if you would like to order some for yourself. I'll show you exactly how they work in a minute, but in the pack that I've linked down below for you, you get 4. So 4 different sizes. And I think it's nice to use different sizes with this DIY because again, it just gives your wreath that little bit more interest and texture. So let's start off by showing you how to make a pom-pom using one of these. So I'm going to demonstrate with the second biggest one. So what you do is you just open up these 2 sides, and then all you want to do is wrap your wool around each side like this. So I like to start down at the one end, the far end, so that you get this part locked together nicely, and then you just work backwards. So you just keep going, winding the wool around, and the thicker you wind this wool, the thicker or the fluffier your pom-pom's going to be. So it's going to be fuller the more wool you wrap around. You need to definitely at least cover this so you can't see the pom-pom maker underneath, but I would encourage you to go back over and do at least 1 more layer, maybe even 2. So just keep winding it until you've definitely covered everything, and as I say, the thicker you go, the fuller your pom-pom's going to be. And I'm shooting this one in real time for you. Often I'll give you a little time lapse, but I just wanted to give you the actual kind of live experience, if we can call it that, of how long this is going to take you to make one pom-pom, and then you can sort of get an idea as to how long this project's going to take you, because I feel like I've been making pom-poms for hours. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a great thing that you can do while you've got the radio on, or maybe when you're watching the television, but maybe it's not the sort of program that you need to give too much attention to, because you will need to glance down every now and then. But to be honest, once you've got the winding started, you're off. And so you don't really need to be looking down too much. You can kind of feel your way around it. So again, I'm going to go right to the end, and then we're going to work back on this just to make it a little bit thicker. Hello, the wreath base is creeping in. He's saying, stick them to me. I will be shortly, mate. I literally can't wait for that bit. I hope I've made enough, because I've already made a few. So this really is the last one that I'm planning on making, just for demonstration for you. And then we're going to stick them all on in a minute. So that's what you do. So you end up with the two pieces like that. And then you fold them back in. So you fold them back in like that, and then you take a pair of scissors. I really need to buy some new scissors. These aren't the sharpest, but you go in and then you cut round like this. You could probably do with some with a slightly more pointed tip just to get in there, would be handy, but I mean, these do the job, so you get the idea, which is the main thing. Now, the good thing about these kits, as well as there not being any waste with the wool, what you can do is, if you've got any friends or family that want to help you, you can distribute the other three and get them cracking on some others, so you can get a bit of help because you're going to be there a while making these pom-poms, so the more help you can get with it, the better. So next, all we need to do is cut a piece of wool off, and that is just to tie around, so you go in on it. So can you see that? So in that crack there, you just put the wool through, and then you tie it nice and tightly, but don't pull too tight so that the wool snaps. But you want to feel it gathering it in, and you'll see these start to move a little bit. So you know that's tight enough. And I'm going to go back around again and knot it again, just to make sure it's extra secure. And one more time, just back round and knot that off. And this time I'm going to do a double knot as well, just to make sure that is really, really secure. Like so. And then just these little bits of excess there, we're going to trim those off so that they're the same length as the rest of it. And then you open up the two sides like that and like that, and then you pull this piece off so it sits on a pin, and then you can take the pom-pom off and put this back together again, and that's ready for the next one now. And then all you need to do is just fluff that out a little bit. And that, I think if you roll them as well, it kind of helps. There you go. So there is one pom-pom of many. So you repeat that with different coloured wools, different sizes, keep going until you've got enough. And what you can do is take your wreath base and just keep checking by arranging them all the way around it to see if you've got enough. Keep going until you do, and then we're going to get the glue gun out. Going to need to make a lot, so good thing to do on these winter evenings. I've got my glue gun at the ready. By the way, they've got glue guns coming into Lidl. I think they will be in the week that you're watching this for £7.99, and also you can pick up a small one in Poundland for £2, I believe they are, or they might be £5, but yes, you can pick up a glue gun in store. As you can see, I've put some cardboard down. You know what I'm like when it comes to gluing things to the table. We may glue the wreath to this cardboard, but it's not going to be the end of the world if we do that. I'm just going to start off by just going on with a little bit of glue. not too much. You don't want to do too much because it can melt the polystyrene. And then we'll start off around the edges with the larger ones. And I think what I'm going to do is just sort of keep picking them out and alternating them as we go around. So I may have to time lapse this a little bit, or we could be here all day. That's the first layer on, and now we're just going to work our way in from there. Just check that these are all right. Yeah, that one's still wet, so I probably shouldn't have lifted it. I won't touch it, they're all good. So next up, I think let's go in with, I don't know where to go next really. Do we go like that? Let's just start. I've got no idea how to go about this now. We'll just start and hope for the best. So we're going on really at the top next. And now as you can see, it's getting nice and full. So now we're just basically trying to look for little gaps. Find a little gap to get some glue into, and then just push them right in. So it's going to be nice and packed. Now this one here is one where I actually ran out of the white wool, so I wrapped the other half of the pom-pom maker in the blue wool, and I wish I'd actually done more like this because I think it looks so brilliant. It also gave me the idea that you could of course double your wool and then wrap it around, so you could end up with like a two-tone pom-pom. So something to experiment with. And there we go. And I actually think this might be one of my favourite DIYs that I've ever made. This is so close to the original, and we're looking at saving about £80 if you DIY it. And then to finish it, I'm going to use some of this cord that I actually picked up in a charity shop, but I'm sure you could find some of this online. If not, take some of your wool and just wrap it around a rolled up piece of fabric, wind it all the way around and glue it. I just think a chunky loop is going to really add to the chunky effect on this. Normally I wouldn't worry too much about what we're hanging it with, but I am going with the inspiration of the Anthropologie one, which had a chunky loop. So I'm going to take a piece of this, enough so it's going to show, so we want quite a decent piece. I'll cut that off. And then let's decide what the top's going to be. I like the two-tone one, so I think I'm going to make that the top. I've just added a little bit of tape over where I've glued it just to make sure it's extra secure. But that is our pom-pom wreath in all its glory. So let me know in the comments what you think, and I would absolutely love it if you do have a go at one of these, if you tagged me in your pictures over on Instagram. So feel free to give me a follow over there. I'm Mr. Carrington and my home account is Mr. Carrington Home. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. I think it looks pretty similar to the Anthropologie one, and it really is just a fraction of the cost. And good fun to make this one. It will take you a little while to get all these pom-poms made, as I say, but something that you can be doing maybe 1 or 2 every day, and then before you know it, you'll have one of these for yourself. I'd love to see it as well if you try some different colours. So yeah, do tag me in your pictures if you make any. But that's it, I'll leave you with some pictures of the wreath styled up. I really hope you enjoyed this DIY. I'm going to do a couple more of these inspired by DIYs. I have seen a couple of other things in stores that I think we'll have a go at making soon. So don't forget to hit the notification bell as well so that you never miss a video. But that's it, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye.